Hello and welcome to Winchester Now. I'm Mary Blaxland with our roundup of some of the stories making the news locally this week. Plus we take a visit to the Alresford men's shed as they prepare to move home. And we hear about a unique trek across the South Downs. Winchester Radio. The ongoing strike by junior doctors this week has led to some cancelled appointments in Winchester and a warning from hospital bosses to only use A&E in an urgent or life-threatening situation. A small picket line was formed at the Royal Hampshire County Hospital as junior doctors began their 4-day walkout on Tuesday in a row over pay. Dr Lara Alloway, Chief Medical Officer at Hampshire Hospital's NHS Foundation Trust, says patients who have hospital appointments should still attend unless they've been contacted directly. Friarsgate GP surgery has also postponed some routine appointments. Junior doctors say they want a 35% increase in pay to compensate for 15 years of below-inflation wage increases. They also say they're striking for patient safety, because current pay levels are affecting recruitment and leading to many doctors leaving the profession. There are major road closures in Winchester this week as detailed planning begins for changes to the M3 Junction 9 at Winnell. Ground surveys are taking place ahead of work beginning next year if planning permission is approved. The M3 and A272 southbound exit slip roads are closed each night this week with diversions in place. The Alresford men's shed has been part of the community for 5 years and helped many people with repairs. Now it's having to move into a new home as its current building is soon to be demolished to make way for new housing. I went along to meet some of the team. Hard at work fixing and making items of all kinds, members of the Alresford men's shed, which has been based in the Dean since 2017. Here's Chairman Brian Durham.
I suppose mostly we're a repair type shop, not the BBC repair shop. We don't have that expertise or money, but that's the sort of thing we do. Jobs that are too small for a tradesman to do, you know, who would you go to get a wonky chair or a wonky leg on a coffee table fixed? People come to us. We fix anything from electric mixers to lawn mowers, clocks to assembling flat pat units, virtually anything you can bring down to the shed. We've got a policy basically of not taking away tradesmen's living. We do what people perhaps can't afford or they can't find a tradesman to do it for them.
People must appreciate having you here and knowing that you're here to help them with whatever they need fixing.
Yes, and the town. The council use us. We had a cascade of poppies on Remembrance Day that comes from the tower. We made the net for it. The ladies of the town knitted the poppies and we constructed it and took it up to the tower, and that's an annual feature now. Other big jobs we've done, we did a scoreboard for Titchbourne Cricket Club, a copy of a vintage scoreboard, and that was about half a tonne. I think we had to get a farmer to move it for us. So we do lots of things really. It started because the Age Concern village rep in the town mentioned that there were guys who were very depressed and they had no one to talk to, and you know there was even talk of suicide, and I thought we should be able to do something about that. So I googled the problem and came up with men's sheds. Yeah, that was in 2017, and we found some premises and we started the shed, and now we've got 28 members.
And what difference has it made to those people?
I think the ones certainly who live alone, they come every day virtually, and it's meant a great deal to their lives.
And members would agree.
When the shed arrived, I was very pleased to see it. You know, it allows you to fill the day with something rather than sort of loiter at home, you know, and go out in the garden. And of course, I hate gardening, so this is the sort of thing where I would enjoy myself.
It's given me an interest. It's given me, in the main, I think, job satisfaction. Well, not job satisfaction, but satisfaction out of woodworking, repairing. I hate to see things wasted. I hate to see things thrown away. It's great for the social side of things, meeting all different people of a similar age and similar interest, having a cup of tea and a chat. Well, at the end of the day, that's what it's about, really, just getting satisfaction, enjoying people's company, just passing a bit of time, having fun.
And you've got big premises here, but things are about to change, aren't they?
Yes, planning permission has gone in for this site. which is going to be turned into flats and a car park for the town. And we have to get out possibly within the next year. But we've found some premises to go. Well, we haven't found premises. We found a car park we can use, a Boy Scouts car park, and we're getting sheds built on that. We apply to organisations for funds. We've had in the past lots of small amounts. We get donations from our customers, sometimes very generously. So over the years, we've accrued about half the money we need, and the other half we're hoping to get from the lottery.
And what do you see for the future?
I think it'll go from strength to strength. I mean, the NHS now have started social prescribing, which means they actually prescribe people to come to us for the good of their mental health. In Australia, where this all started, men's sheds, the government subsidised the sheds greatly. And in fact, they've done research and they say that if a man belongs to a men's shed, he lives for another 6 years in retirement. So what we say is, come down and claim your 6 years.
The Alresford Men's Shed is always keen to welcome new members and new skills. Women, of course, can also join. Anyone with a project, a repair or wanting more information will find the shed open from 10 till 12:30 every weekday. Meanwhile, a repair cafe in Winchester officially launches this weekend. It will be based at the community centre in Badger Farm this Saturday between 10 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. and at Unit 12 in Winnell between 2 and 4 p.m. Everyone is welcome to pop in and visit, but repairs need to be booked in advance.
Winchester Radio.
People in Winchester have just a few days left to apply to vote in next month's City Council elections. The deadline is 17th of April for those not already registered. For the first time this year, people will also have to show ID before they cast their vote. For more information on this, visit the City Council's website. The football season is not yet finished, but Winchester City FC have done enough to ensure they'll be staying up in the Southern Premier Division. They were only promoted at the start of this season. They had 2 wins over the long weekend, a 3-0 win on Saturday against Hayes and Yedding, and a 2-1 win against Salisbury on Easter Bank Holiday Monday. Congratulations to them. Now for more shout-outs, here's Paul.
We've got some lovely shout-outs for you today. Let's start off with a shout-out to 103-year-old Maisie. She's part of a team that's donated crocheted blankets to support organ donation patients and their loved ones at Winchester Hospital. In just over 2 months, Hampshire Hospitals Foundation Trust have received over 35 handmade blankets and say they're continuing to see a positive response to their appeal. Maisie from Basingstoke has spent many days crocheting the blankets and says she's extremely proud that each one is providing comfort for patients and families within the intensive care unit. The Hampshire Police and Crime Commissioner Donna Jones has thanked volunteers and staff from across the county for their exceptional service and commitment at a ceremony in Winchester. The Police and Crime Commissioner Awards recognise those who help make communities safer. It's only the second time they've been held, and the awards were hosted by broadcaster and wildlife expert Chris Packham. Amongst the winners was Peter McPherson and his dogs Rocco and Molly, who won Police Volunteer of the Year. The dogs attend the aftermath of major incidents to help those affected by trauma. Special mention today to 3 local hairdressers who have donated their time and skills to give free haircuts to people struggling to cope with rising living costs. Lorraine Rose already visits the Winchester Beacon to cut residents' hair, but she teamed up with 2 fellow hairdressers for a special event open to people across the city. The event was promoted by local homelessness agencies, food banks and community centres, and the team worked for almost 4 hours cutting over 20 people's hair. And finally, well done to foundation learning students at Sparshotts College who raised more than £200 for the Helpful Hounds Assistance Dogs by holding an Easter fair. There's a raffle, pop-up charity shop, bake sale, lucky dip and more. The college has praised the students for their success. Thank you everyone for every little bit you do.
Winchester Radio.
Now in last week's shout-outs we told you about 4 women who are walking from Winchester to Eastbourne across the South Downs carrying a rowing boat. Well, they've completed their 4-day mission, which was to raise awareness of women in sport. And earlier one of the team, Victoria Monk, told me more about the challenge.
It was amazing. It was an incredible experience, varied in terms of the weather conditions, challenging for numerous reasons in terms of the actual kind of physical endurance, the sleep deprivation that came at the cost of trying to get in the number of miles over the kind of time frame that we'd set ourselves. An incredible experience as well for the kind of people that we met en route and the support that we encountered. And it really made it all worthwhile, and obviously all laddering up to our broader cause of hoping to inspire more girls and women to get into sport.
Yes, tell me a bit more about your aims and ambitions and what you want to achieve from this.
The whole underlying premise of doing this challenge, which was a 100-mile walk carrying a rowing boat, was for each mile that represents 10,000 girls that dropped out of sport in the UK last year. And by age 17, over half of girls will have dropped out of sport entirely, missing out on its benefits, both physical, mental, personal, professional, all of these wonderful kind of benefits, skills, development kind of points that sports gives you. They miss out on those by dropping out of sport. And that's because there are still so many barriers that exist for girls in exercise. And some of those are, that there are no sports teams for them to join. It might be that there's not actually a girls' rugby club in their local village or town. It might just be that they don't have the confidence and there isn't a kind of leader or role model that's encouraging them to kind of get involved. There are all these different reasons. And we hope that by doing this crazy challenge and carrying this rowing boat the length of the South Downs Way, 100 miles, having never been done before, it won't surprise you to know that helped to shine a spotlight on the barriers that still exist for girls getting into sport, and hopefully using it as a platform to inspire girls and women all over the country to say, if we can carry this boat the length of the South Downs Way, then, pick up a pair of trainers for the first time, or go and try that rugby club, or try that football team, or try your first park run, or whatever that looks like. That was the overarching kind of ambition for the challenge.
Are things getting better, though? Because we've had the success of the Lionesses, women's rugby is doing well, women's cricket. Are things improving?
Undoubtedly, women's sport is in the spotlight. Obviously, the success of the Lionesses last summer was a phenomenal, historic moment for not just women's football, but women's sport and sport more broadly. And obviously, off the back of that, the Lionesses have championed for all girls in the UK to get equal access to football and PE in schools. So girls now get a minimum of 2 hours compulsory PE a week, which is incredible that their win last summer has created this legacy and this impact. But there is still so far to go. We need more women's sport on telly, on the radio, in the newspaper, online, then that enabling more funding to be driven in. And it's a cyclical process, because obviously then the more funding, the more opportunities it creates, the bigger the development pathway, and the more opportunities that creates further down the funnel at the grassroots level. So in answer to your question, amazing momentum, amazing growth is being seen across the board. But yeah, absolutely, there is still so much work to do, and we'll keep fighting and championing and, playing our small part in helping to drive that growth for women's sport.
So what's next then?
What's next? Good question. The next thing on the horizon for There She Rows is we are rowing across the Atlantic Ocean at the end of the year. 3,000 miles unassisted from La Gomera, which is just a small island just off the Canary Islands, all the way to Antigua in the Caribbean. So from the moment we push off from land, we'll be completely on our own. So we have to take all of our food. We have a water desalinator on board. We'll be rowing kind of 2 hours on, 2 hours off, facing storms, wind, rain. 3 out of 4 of us have never rowed before. So again, we're saying, if we can cross the Atlantic in a tiny rowing boat, having never rowed before, then, girls, women everywhere, you can be inspired and empowered to take on your own Atlantic Ocean, whatever that looks like for you.
Well, good luck to them, and that's all for this week. You can email any news or shout-outs to news@winchester.radio. Thanks for listening to Winchester Now.